taking us now Uganda as we really want, because there is nothing which TAYEBWA did not take that the other lady did. See, and we are being clear here. No, but still, understand things. No, if I'm the one, I just come out and say, these are things that don't belong to me, let me bring the shit and that may be fair. But if you have done something that kept in whatever little heart makes us, she took it too. Exactly. Going to the other place, let even reinforces our walls. You have some place to exactly. For the first time, I have read the Spire. Spire wrote something and said, this son of man from Rajpura appears in a house, apart from showing his house. What does he show you? And if you want to look at it, you have just been here 4 years. Why are you running around this place? You say, I have a very humble house in Rajpura, and sometimes maybe even the government finds. I looked at that and I said, this is just a village woman. But she cannot live. She has cried, all the eyes are swollen. Camilla doesn't live. I am very good. So you see, you can't really say anything that happens. As long as you are not aware of the other one. But that was too much. But again, she spoiled the other institution. Even your own subject alone, I think guys buy something even be there and promote like no, he's just too the gatekeeper.
Before all of us, we were not his people.
That's unfortunate. So I wanted to arrange in a way that guys plant their cameras on their pillars so that we give spaces in the middle here for guys.
No problem. Let this guy come. Let Timo come.
Yeah, let him go. And this is the time to get this.
Timo. Let them plant already.
Morning to you. We want as you plant your camera. I think where are yours?
We are still mapping on where to put them.
Where will you? We want guys to get on pillars.
On pillars, yes, on pillars, yes.
Next
We are
to this one.
Yes, we are doing pillars.
You can still use the side, but we want to leave this space.
We are doing the pillars.
But this is the time. What time do you want to do it?
Put your things already.
Guys are many.
That house, indeed, the both of them needed to be swept.
Yeah,
but the state plays different.
Anyway, okay. Yesterday, the word I heard about that was institutional continuity. That was read, but at least they should have passed.
See, to say institutional continuity is also not genuine.
Not genuine because a lot has been hidden.
No, these two people were all new to leadership of the house. This guy is what? Hello? 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 Cameraman going in. Hey, okay, who no mulabi?
I don't even know who's leading parliamentary media now.
No, see these two gentlemen here?
Modeke?
Yeah, Modeke and him. They can be the ones to guide. Okay. They can give you somebody.
Yeah, I'll get time. Let them finish, then you got your tag.
Okay, yes we did. kwe balina okusimu naye oba sibawulira ate kati ngezaako bawulira mu inda kotimo put him wait. Kino basooka nkijjeko. Simon, I'm coming to you live from Kololo Ceremonial Grounds. This is the environment that will be later on proclaimed to be the Parliament of Uganda, where the first sitting of the 12th Parliament will be carried out or will be held to elect the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of Parliament. That is the only business of the day. It is how the law prescribes it, and that is what will be taking precedence today. The only other things that could be able to happen are the remarks by the presiding officer, who will be the Chief Justice at a time before the election of the Speaker starts off this very morning here at Kololo, where I'm coming to you live. From what we can be certain to tell you for now is that the preparations have been concluded already for who will be sitting where and what particularly the environment will look like. If Chirimwira can show you around this particular heavy big tent or dome tent that you are in position to see, is what will host all members of Parliament and any other invited guests that will be part of this very event. The organization that happens in Parliament, which speaks to where do actually members of Parliament sit, on which side of the Speaker do they sit, so it will be the same. You are in position to see a poster there that shows you that the opposition will be sitting on what for now will be the right, depending on how you are in position to see it. And then the independents, and then the government members of Parliament, or the NRM leading members of Parliament, where they will be sitting there. And the other guests that will be invited there, that is how the organization looks like today. To the tent which you are seeing now in that very picture, that is where the presiding officer will be sitting, and the clerk to Parliament. The clerk to Parliament, Adolf Mwesige, will be the one to read the rules of procedure under which Parliament is convening today. That is Rule 5, which speaks to the election of the Speaker within and the process under which they undertake. And that very tent is also where the Chief Justice will be sitting, if the Chief Justice gets to be the one that will be presiding over the election of the Speaker, or the judge that will be designated by the Chief Justice to undertake the process that will be here. Also, the extreme tent is where the President will be seated there, and that is still undergoing preparations on how it should be set, and particularly the entire environment that gets to surround it and how it is protected. That's what is currently being organized here in Kololo, where we are coming to you live from. But we expect that in about 2 hours, members of Parliament will be arriving here. We can tell you that at least only 2 representatives of the military have been seen around, the new representatives of the military, those that took oath just about 3 days ago when Parliament was undertaking the swearing-in ceremony of the members of Parliament of the 12th Parliament. But we have not been in position to see any members of Parliament yet arriving here at Kololo, but we're certain they'll be arriving. But why we have not seen many of them is that because when they arrive, they first have to go and take breakfast, and then they will be proceeding to this very tent where to the Speaker of Parliament, which signifies handover of power to that particular individual, much as the Chief Justice will have undertaken the process, and the other tools of power for Parliament of Uganda will be handed over to the Speaker of Parliament, who will have been elected, and later on to the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, who will be elected therein. That's it for now. We come back to you at the Political Command Center, and certainly we shall be giving you more updates from here.
setulamu yejjayo.
Where are those guys? Because they saw what I saw. Awedi ku parliament abadde agenda kukola ki? Agikola nani? There are no MPs that are going to come from parliament. Agenda kubajjawa. Atambula ne baani ababaka bazze n'emmotoka zaabwe wano. Hey, one of the Antida to gain and a motivated restriction. Jukida, this is Auntie Jukida. You have to remember one thing. While you look at it as a tent, it is parliament. Yeah. And okay.
Honorable members of Parliament, a very good morning. Welcome to the Colonial Ceremonial Grounds. For the members who have just walked in, we have been issuing a reminder that it is extremely important that you register. We have got a registration desk within the main tent in the corner. And it is mandatory that members of Parliament who attend this session should register. If you do not register, you will not be able to vote. So we kindly ask that before you settle down finally, please find the registration table in the corner of the tent and register. For the protocol teams that are here, please guide members of Parliament, especially those who are here for the first time, to the registration form to enable them to prepare for the main activity for today.
You're not going to walk, eh?
Because he cannot walk.
You can walk.
Otherwise, very good
Obuzibu
morning
bwetulina
to
tetulina
all our
kuleetera.
distinguished guests. Thank you for making it here in time. Today, 25th of May, 2026, is the very first sitting of the 12th Parliament of Uganda. For those of you who have always wanted to follow Parliament and understand the different terms that are used, today would be a very good day to start, especially because this is the first sitting of the 12th Parliament of Uganda. Specifically, today will mark the first sitting of the first meeting of the first session of the 12th Parliament of Uganda. I'm sure you're all aware that the term of the 11th Parliament expired. And following the Constitution, it states in Article 773 that the term of Parliament shall be 5 years from the date of its first sitting after a general election. The last Parliament, the 11th Parliament, elected their Speaker on the 24th of May 2021. And today, 25th of May 2026, we shall have the election of the Speaker, followed by the election of the Deputy Speaker of Parliament to the 12th Parliament of Uganda. Currently,
standing. I would want us to do it standing.
No, can I go and sit or I wait here? I will come.
Rather wait.
I wait here.
Took their oaths on various days, on the 13th, the 14th, and 15th, with the final one taking his oath on the 20th of May 2026. So currently, we have got a composition of 528 members of parliament. I'm sure you're all aware that there is still one vacant slot, and that is the slot for the woman representative for Kalangala district. This followed the
akuwulira kati nze nkole ntya
Helen Nachibuli, who passed away on the 19th of April. May her soul rest in peace.
Enoch osobola okwambala ku kagundi mwekali
inform you also that the Electoral Commission has announced the electoral program for this by-election, and this will culminate in voting on the 24th of June 2026. We shall keep updating you through the morning before this session starts. But for now, we welcome you to Kololo, and please register, especially for members who have just come in. You are required to register at the registration table before you can participate in the activities of today, specifically the election of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of the 12th Parliament of Uganda. Thank you very much.
How are you? I want to look humble.
Simon, indeed, I'm coming to you live from the environment which is yet to be designated as Parliament of Uganda, which will be seeing of the election of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of the 12th Parliament, which sets in today because the 11th Parliament officially got dissolved yesterday, 24th, and that was the end of the term of office for that particular Parliament, with or without the proclamation of the House being dissolved at the time. We start such a new journey that is for the 12th Parliament today, with the first business of any Parliament, which is today, the election of the Speaker being the first business of a kind. What also we have just learned before we get into the business of what will be transparent today is that the Electoral Commission has notified Parliament that there will be a by-election in Kalangala, and that particular by-election will take place on the 24th of June, which will see the election of the District 1 Member of Parliament for Kalangala having lost the former elect for Member of Parliament woman for Kalangala, the Honourable late Nachimuli Helen, who was the representative of that particular area and also who had been elected to come in for a second term in office. But back to the business of Parliament, which will be happening today on the speakership race. We want to look into how particularly the National Resistance Movement got into the confirmation of its two candidates who will be who will be part of the election, which is expected to happen today. But this did not go without the challenge within the party in itself, because when the party opened up for the expression of interest, which would have culminated into the election, many expressed their interest. About 16 individuals expressed interest in this particular race. We want to speak to one of the individuals who was in the race for deputy speakership to hear from her what particularly proved that she could actually just get out of the race, much as she had raised a lot of dust on whether she would have gotten into the office of the deputy speaker of parliament. What we gather from many of those that attended the NRM parliamentary caucus that happened yesterday at State House in Entebbe is that two names were presented to the House, and all individuals that had expressed interest had already withdrawn from the race. Was the withdrawal a push? What exactly transpired? Honourable Lydia Wanyoto, tell us what exactly transpired in Entebbe.
I'm Lydia Wanyoto Mutende, woman member of parliament for Mbale City. I bring you greetings from Mbale City residents. I expressed interest for the office of the Deputy Speaker of the 12th Parliament, but through the NRM party. So when we went for the caucus, the President talked to us individually. For me, the President said that he needed to reorganize the 12th Parliament to make sure that there is cohesion and that there was no divisionism, and we have had challenges in the 11th Parliament, which he wanted to arrange because of the camps. In the past, when we open elections, then people go with their supporters and their camps, then there is the bigger picture of serving the country disappears. But we are going to correct that, and in future there will be more space for democracy and for elections when you have streamlined. But most important, this time around, the nominees whom we have brought today and we are supporting, Right Honourable OBOTH and Honourable Thomas TAYEBWA, are all men, so we do not have a woman on the position from the NRM, and that disturbed us a lot, because we are here, we are capable. But
that's why I want to ask you, it is a normal practice, common for you individuals within the ruling party to say, yes, the president talked to you, yes, the party chairman guided this way, but you get into the race and you know that the party to which you subscribe is supposed to undertake democratic processes. You know, oftentimes individuals are talked out. You could not stand for the women? Is that what you mean, that you had to be talked out to get out of the would-be expectation of service?
I stepped down after guidance from the chairman himself. He's been the champion, and he is the champion of the women's positioning and leadership and recruitment and cadre grooming like myself. But there's a cause for which he told us he wanted to reorganize Parliament of Uganda. And the incumbent, who is the deputy speaker, is a man, but the one that was, his hand that is there that we have now, to head up the new speaker, our candidate, who is the Right Honourable OBOTH. We could not stretch it beyond that. The point was made, the assessment was made. I stood out as a very good candidate even for speaker, because I qualify, I am able and I have experience, but the party leadership thought otherwise. So we are going to wait for other opportunities for women, but particularly for the legislature, because the focus now is on the legislature. They shouldn't tell us about the judiciary or whether the executive, whether they are ministers or they are not. We want to fix the biggest arm of government that is pro-people, is Parliament.
Honourable, how do you want to fix individuals in a democratic environment when you have failed on democracy within the party? Because all of you could just subject yourselves to your own structure, which is the NRM Parliamentary Caucus, but you do not go to an election. You actually just present individuals seconded in the SEC. You don't go to an election. Is it that you feared for cohesion could never happen within the party?
This is the first time we are having a deputy speaker slot without an internal elections. Even the previous elections, we had OBOTH, Robin Arakojo, Thomas TAYEBWA and Among contesting for deputy speaker position. And normally the practice in our party has been the people are given a chance to serve 2 terms. So we are dealing with the matters that are not usual, because the practice of NRM is that you serve 2 terms. But Parliament, the 11th Parliament has had challenges. They've had a lot of image and trust issues, issues of corruption, budget corruption, irregular recruitment of staff. They have huge issues that are under investigation, could not allow our colleagues to do their usual second term, and that's where issues are. And we want to give them a benefit of doubt by a thorough cleaning up and investigations.
Thank you very much, Honourable Lydia Wanyoto. She's one of those who were vying for the position of Deputy Speaker of Parliament. And certainly it's one that we continue to watch now, because individuals are here, the members of Parliament elects are here, and what we expect of them is that they'll be taking a right decision at a particular time. It sounds different when you speak to a legislator who is in for the first time. And I want to speak to one of us, formerly from within the circle of the news, and now is a member of Parliament. And we would like to speak to you, Honourable. We would want to hear from you first, to hear what particularly what you anticipate today could be your first time to indeed be part of the election of the Speaker, but also to sit in Parliament for the first time as a member of Parliament, we would want to hear from you. What is your anticipation today, the politics within and the democratic practices that have to happen today to elect a Speaker?
First of all, I greet every viewer watching NBS right now. I'm called Ivan Cheyune, Member of Parliament, Nakasongola constituency on NOP ticket. Today, the first session is voting the Speaker of Parliament and the Deputy Speaker. We all understand, and every Ugandan has lost the confidence in the Parliament of Uganda due to the dents and the stains related to corruption. Many people have lost the trust in the Parliament of Uganda, and it's all because of the Speaker, how they have mismanaged funds and how they have luxuriously spent our taxes. We have an opportunity today to clean up the image that has been stained for a very long time. We understand that as the opposition, we have a candidate who is very clean, supposed to bring back the confidence in Ugandans. As Parliament, we understand we are holding the hopes of every Ugandan. Every budget that comes out of Parliament should be giving hope to Ugandans, should be reflecting how a real Ugandan down there expects services from us. As opposition, we have now brought up a candidate in the Honorable Miru from Jinja, who we trust that is going to cut the Lakizare from the office of the Speaker of Parliament, who is going to be accountable. We are seeing how speakers have spent our money with impunity.
And Honorable, and that's why I want to ask you, today you just undertake another legal process of electing another individual. Yes. You cannot be certain about how they can curtail selves on discipline, on expenditure in the House. How do you intend to deal with such loopholes at the time when they arise? Because these are processes, some you're never party to. Not all of you sit in the Parliamentary Commission. Not all of you have the audacity to ask a presiding officer what particularly they're up to when things are not right.
That is what has happened recently. In the 11th Parliament, the Speaker had a lot of authority, usurping all the other commissions and all the other committees. We want a Speaker who, first of all, downsize the authority on himself. A Speaker will be answerable to commissions, answerable to committees. We know that in the Honorable Miru is a very transparent person. He has served in the 9th Parliament. I think you have never had any history, any cases of corruption about him, and we understand he's carrying that legacy. We have the hope in him, and we are now here trying to convince all other members of Parliament from the NRM party to support the Honorable Miru. We understand the two candidates that have been brought by the NRM party, at least there are cases that they must answer. We understand if actually, in quotes, that these people are fighting corruption, even the Honorable Deputy TAYEBWA would be answering some questions there. We understand. And we know even the Honorable OBOTH has a case related to iron sheets. So those...
That we cannot substantiate because we do not know of any case file of Uganda Police before.
You always have a problem. You never want the truth.
Thank you, Honorable. We are glad that you have moved from the media and you have let us do the duty of the media. Thank you very much, Honorable, for speaking to us. It is the different members of Parliament that we are speaking to just hear from them what particularly and where the thoughts are as they head into this particular practice of voting today, or the legal practice, which is one of the most important to be undertaken today as they get to elect their Speaker of Parliament, which is the only business that can be undertaken today. But what happens when the election of the Speaker is done and dusted? What then befalls the 12th Parliament? Where do they begin? What sort of journey will they be traversing for the next 5 years? But also, the key question is, how much are they learning from the events preceding the 11th Parliament, which just got to a close yesterday, and how much more do we have to still ask about how this Parliament is moving? We understand that indeed several members of Parliament are coming from the Parliament of Uganda building, and they are aboard the bus which is bringing them to Kololo here, where the Parliament of Uganda will be sitting. But how much more do we have to wait for them if Parliament sits? It's about a few minutes from now, about 25 minutes from now, the Parliament of Uganda is expected to be convening at that particular time because the program reads as 10 a.m. Will they keep time? That we'll have to ask about. But indeed, we expect that the President of Uganda will be arriving here as well before 10 a.m. as 10 a.m. as the events proceed here. But we still want to hear from some members of Parliament, particularly how the process that some of them are not undertaking for the very first day will proceed and what sort of hope do they have in this particular process. Honorable Chirumira, I would like to speak to you and hear from you how different the process can deliver for you on a day like today. And we want to understand from you, it's not the first time for you to participate in the process of the election. It's a legal process which must be undertaken, otherwise you would not be sitting today if you don't have a Speaker of Parliament. But we want to hear from you particularly. You are electing a Speaker today. What happens after?
Of course, Rule 5 and 6 establishes the position of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda, and that's why we are here. Nothing can happen without this day electing the Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda and the Deputy Speaker. And it's a very, very important position for our country in terms of taking our country forward. Of course, two governments here, the opposition and the substantive government, competing for a position of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. It's a game of numbers, but we have produced a candidate, and that candidate is the Honorable Paul Miro to steer the Parliament of Uganda.
Honorable, is it enough for you to have a candidate well knowing that it's a game of numbers entirely?
Of course, in an oppressed situation like we find ourselves in, you know what happened during elections with the declaration of candidates that did not win. We have to protest that, and one way of protesting is producing a candidate against all odds. But the Honorable Paul Miro, I want to focus on him. He's not an ordinary member of Parliament. He's a seasoned legislator. He's been in Parliament for 2 terms. He's a lawyer, and he's been practicing for quite a long period of time. If you look at his manifesto, he embodies what Ugandans would want in that seat of the Speaker of Parliament, and that's why we present the Honorable Paul Miro to be the Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chirumira. He is the Member of Parliament for Katikamo South there, and he represents the people there. He is part of the entire delegation of the opposition that you see seated in this particular designated area, which you see here. It is where the members of the opposition will be sitting. But I also want to speak to the members of Parliament who belong to the other side of government, and we want to hear from them what particularly the environment looks like for them on a day like today, and what will it proceed to hear, particularly how they will be moving. And we want to speak to some of them who are senior legislators to just hear from them what exactly could be the task of this 12th Parliament as it gets to take precedent today as they get new leadership within the House. And I want to speak to one of the senior legislators who just had a term out and just returned to the Parliament of Uganda. That's the Member of Parliament for Maokota, Amelia Chambadi. Honourable, we would like to speak to you. Suddenly the business of the day, and you returning to the House first, individuals would think you would have expressed interest in a race like this, but you are not. But I want to hear from you what you think the task could be ahead of the 12th Parliament, which you're coming back to serve into, considering the different circumstances under which the 11th Parliament has gone down.
Well, thank you very much. The task, first of all, I did not express interest in this because I prefer serving my area and focusing on my area, because 5 years has been a great loss to us. So now the uphill task we have in this Parliament, 12th Parliament, first of all is to fight corruption. Secondly is to reinstate sanity. There's been a bit of insanity, I'm sorry to say that. But also to make sure that we go back to the grassroots and work for our people, because there's been a big gap. So basically those are the key issues that I feel that we should do for
I would want to hear from you on how exactly
we enforce the policies that we pass.
So how exactly do you intend to hold each other to account in Parliament? Because the challenges in the 11th Parliament, individuals are pointing one direction, they're not pointing to selves, yet the members of Parliament actually have a duty to hold the speakers accountable, the presiding officers accountable, the chairpersons of the committees accountable, and to understand how particularly the business of Parliament moves. How do you intend to deal with the issues that could arise within?
First of all, we have trust in our speaker, the one we are going to appoint, and the deputy speaker. We feel that they have a big role to play in guiding us and in steering the House. So that is where the main focus is. The second one is our participation as individuals, as individual representatives from different areas. So, and then also working as teams, working as a team, for example, but also in unity, not only NRM or what, but we should work together because we all represent people and we have the same challenges. So we should work with NOOP, NRM with NOOP and other parties to ensure that we correct whatever has gone wrong.
Thank you very much, Honorable Amelia Chambade. We shall come back and hold you accountable just in case events that preceded the previous Parliament come back indeed in the same way. Sorry, very much sorry. But we would like to still speak to other legislators who are within this very Parliament, or the 12th Parliament, which is yet to be proclaimed, and to hear from him, what does he make of the business today? We would like to hear from you, Honorable Maracha, Member of Parliament. We would like to hear from you and get to understand, for you as the 12th Parliament takes precedent today, what do you intend to focus on as members of Parliament and conduct of the national business? How do you intend to whip yourselves against vices that have disturbed the 11th Parliament?
Thank you very much, listeners and viewers. My name is Honorable Tom Aliti Chandia, the Member of Parliament for Maracha East constituency in the West Nile region. And my major focus and aspiration is on poverty eradication. Our people are very poor, and therefore programs and projects to eradicate poverty is key in Uganda, but also in the West Nile region and in Maracha. And we can only do this through socio-economic transformation programs, through wealth creation programs, ensuring that there is household income enhanced at the household level, and all people are not left behind. If we were to move into middle income status and high income status, nobody must be left behind. And therefore, programs to support agricultural production, programs like water for production, programs of financial literacy are very, very key going forward in this 12th Parliament.
Honorable, yes, the executive brings you those programs. You okay the programs in Parliament and accept that they have to be implemented across government. But the challenge with where you are going to sit is that there are allegations of how many of the members of Parliament have been asking for a share on different programs of government, an exchange of something. How do you intend to ensure that those do not get into the 12th Parliament to disturb or distract the government programs?
Thank you very much. The people who have been elected, I'm sure, are people of high integrity, people who are ethical, people who love transparency and accountability, and we are trustworthy, we are trustful that the mandate will be handled in a very good way, in a good governance system, to ensure that there is no corruption, to ensure accountability, to ensure that the beneficiaries get what they have been planned for. So we shall ensure that there is good oversight, there is monitoring, there is supervision going forward. And the key point here is good governance at all levels, whether from LC1 up to the executive. That is what I look forward to, and I am sure we shall deliver.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Aliti Tom. He is the Member of Parliament for Maracha East. He's one of those who are new entrants to the 12th Parliament. He was not part of the 11th Parliament. What we can be certain to tell you is that the composition of members here is heavy. Many of them have arrived. I can also tell you that the new team of the Uganda People's Defence Forces, which is representing the military in Parliament, has also arrived. We can be able to tell you that the only individual we have not been able to see yet is the Deputy CDF, who is also one of the representatives of UPDF in Parliament. Kanare Mugume is on site along with me. Kanare, we would want to come to you to hear from you, from the members of Parliament that you have been able to see. What do they anticipate of the process that is well spelled out in the Constitution?
Will administer the oaths to the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of Parliament. So we shall keep you updated. And to the members of Parliament who have just walked in,
we shall be speaking to Kanare Mugume, and certainly we can show you around fast on who exactly is here. You can be able to see the delegation from the Uganda People's Defence Forces, which is part of the representatives in Parliament, but they do not have a vote in Parliament depending on the different resolutions that get to come through to Parliament of Uganda, because they do not vote, because they are also treated as ex-officials. Only those who are able to vote on all are the members of Parliament who are directly elected in the different constituencies of Uganda, where we shall be getting to understand the different ways that we are looking at the election today as it proceeds. I can also be able to tell you that we have been able to see the Honourable Paul Mwiru, who is vying for the speakership position of the 12th Parliament as well here at the grounds. He's rallying the different individuals who are seeking for the votes, but that's what we can tell you for now on the events proceeding here. But we can also be sure to tell you that the tent where the clerk, the Chief Justice and the President, where they will be sitting and where they will be making the proclamation and also the handover of the tools of power of Parliament, has already been organized. What we expect as of now is that the Chief Justice will be arriving. If the Chief Justice is the one who is supposed to preside over the event, or the alternative person or the alternative judge who will be undertaking the process today. Kanare Mugume, we get to you to hear from you. What particularly do you see of the events proceeding today? How will they impact the 12th Parliament, but also from the members of Parliament? How much do they anticipate of the day in terms of the elections that are going to be conducted?
His Lordship, the Chief Justice, has arrived in his robes, in his ceremonial robes. And like I mentioned earlier, His Lordship, the Chief Justice, the head of the judiciary, has a very special duty here today, because at this point in time, this Parliament does not have a Speaker, this Parliament does not have a Deputy Speaker. So His Lordship, the Chief
Sorry
Justice,
for you.
will preside over the election
Sorry for you.
of the Speaker of the 12th Parliament of Uganda. Thereafter, the elected Speaker after taking the oath will preside over the election of the Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Just going back to our order paper, after the proclamation, we shall have remarks by His Lordship, the Chief Justice, followed by the reading of the rules of procedure on the election of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker by the Clerk of Parliament. Then the nomination of candidates for the office of the Speaker, with the nominees giving their consent to these nominations, and this will be followed by the election presided over by the Chief Justice. After the election, we shall have the declaration of the results, remarks by His Lordship the Chief Justice, and administration of oaths to the Speaker by His Excellency the President, in accordance with Article 82(10) of the Constitution and the second schedule of the Oath Act, Chapter 19 of the laws of Uganda. So we shall continue updating you through the course of this morning, leading up to the election of the Speaker, and thereafter leading up to the election of the Deputy Speaker. But once again, we welcome you to Kololo on this very special day, when we have the first sitting of the first meeting of the first session of the 12th Parliament of Uganda. For especially the younger audiences that we have, and those who may not remember, allow me to take you through the different parliaments that Uganda has had. The first parliament of Uganda was at independence, and we started with a Britain, Charles Griffin, who handed over to the first Ugandan Speaker of Parliament, the Honorable Narendra Patel. Honorable Narendra Patel was from Mali. He presided over the first and the second Parliament of Uganda. That was between 1962, 1963 until 1971. The third Parliament of Uganda was between 1979 and 1980.
The next parliament that we had was between 1986 and 1996. It was the fifth parliament of Uganda, and this was presided over by His Excellency President Joe Museveni. Several of the vice chairpersons, the Honorable Moses Kigongo. And that started with the Honorable James Kabakabulo, the seventh and eighth Parliament of Uganda was presided over by the Right Honorable Edward Chekandi. And the tenth Parliament was presided over by the Right Honorable Rebecca Anita. The 11th Parliament of Uganda that just ended started with and the term was completed by the so today we'll start the term of the next speaker, and we look forward
Number one. We have got a registration desk in the main tent in the corner. You can ask any of our protocol team to guide you to this. And once you are there and you are registered, then you can be totally attired for today's activity. Now, if you have any person, if there are any persons who are seated within the chairs that are arranged for members of parliament, this is just to inform you that that forms the Parliament of Uganda. So it is only elected members of Parliament that are allowed to sit in those chairs. If you are not a member of Parliament, we kindly ask that you step aside, ask the protocol team to guide you on where you can sit. Otherwise, you are seated in the chamber of Parliament, and that is not allowed.
who have just walked in, we know that our session is started early in the day. We supposed to start at 1 o'clock. And for those of you who would like to have some refreshments, some breakfast, we have got tents to the side that are clearly marked and clearly set up so you can have a light refreshment before we can sit in the chamber. We don't expect you to carry any items of some water into the chamber. And for those of you who require any form of medical assistance, we have got a first the first tent. There is a first aid tent at the back of the main tent, and we have been there ready to cater to any of your needs. We welcome the band for the head trainers, and we shall allow you to enjoy some of that entertainment as we wait for His Excellency the President. Thank you very much.
Who is he? Oboth, eh? Speaker tu sata mumu kutte kaliwa chadema mwenda kumbe wao simlewa kutibia nga atamba kuyiyati sina kadi mbili on mu recording adm ana kidali kana wale hao muyambe kao kana muyambe kao bana ibanda munonya ini tetere kana wale hao ibanda alieri jaba jakolela olaba wova wenyini babayimiri kundi kajamu kulage
Hello? Jose. Kale ndi ready kangende wali Enoch kwali kusimu batali. I have my microphone. No problem.
Thank you very much, our band. I'm sure you can see all the activity.
The pictures you see are of the Honourable Member of Parliament of both currently greeting the counterparts within the circles of the opposition. He has just greeted the Honourable Member of Parliament for Kira Municipality, and now he is speaking to the Member of Parliament for Rubaga South, there, Eugenia, Nasolo, and other individuals that are within the Parliament of Uganda. He just arrived a couple of minutes ago, and he arrived entirely in company of his counterpart as they were okayed in the NRM SEC, and that is Honourable OBOTH and Honourable Thomas TAYEBWA. The both of them moved together, and until today they are actually moving together all through on the arrival, and now the both of them have split. They are speaking to the different members of Parliament, which signifies that indeed they are already campaigning for the vote for Speaker and the vote for Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Also, in the picture that you are currently seeing is Honourable Nancy Nyakato, who is vying for the position of Deputy Speaker of Parliament. She's a member of the People's Front for Freedom, and what we can only expect is that they are speaking because she would also want to see alliances from the different individuals within Parliament and different members of Parliament to ensure that he gets or she gets cohesion from within. On this other side is the Honourable Member of Parliament for Mitoma, Honourable Thomas TAYEBWA, also doing what exactly the Honourable OBOTH has been doing. He's now come on the desk of registration for him to be registered, and he takes his seat formally and to ensure that he is present in record and also present in person at Parliament of Uganda, and he will be one of those candidates that are in the race for Speaker of Parliament. He is in the race with the Honourable Norbert Mao, the party president for Democratic Party, also Honourable Paul Mwiro, the Member of Parliament for Jinja South East. Where we are headed to is also where other members of Parliament are, and currently this is where the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas TAYEBWA, is. He is also trying to rally the members of the opposition within, to ask for their vote and to ask for their support in the race that he returns to as a Deputy Speaker of Parliament. In case he gets to be elected Deputy Speaker of Parliament, then he will go down the history having served 2 terms as a Deputy Speaker of Parliament, even when his former counterpart, the Honourable Anita Mong, got to serve only one term, but she was lucky to serve one term as both a speaker and a deputy speaker of parliament, having taken over office after the death of Honorable Olanya. And also, we can tell you that he is indeed just moving there to ensure that he gets to be registered there within, and we shall be getting to understand how particularly the other members of parliament are moving to. And Kanari Mugume is also on site. On the other side of the site, he'll be speaking to other members of parliament on how the process will be appearing today, but also how entirely the members of parliament anticipate the day. We can tell you that the environment seems to be changing, but we expect that the Chief Justice could be here in a few minutes from now, but also the events as they are unfolding show that the president could be arriving here a few minutes from now. Kanari Mugume would like to hear from you and get to hear from the members of parliament on the task ahead of them and the anticipation, the vice of corruption and handling of the democratic processes today.
The proclamation and all the other items as are listed in the order paper today. So His Excellency the President is going to be received by His Lordship, the Chief Justice, as well as senior officials of Parliament, including the Clerk to Parliament and the Deputy Clerks to Parliament. So we kindly ask that all members of Parliament, please take your seats, please make your way to your positions in preparation for the start of this sitting. If we have any members, any persons that do not belong in the Chamber of Parliament, we kindly ask that you now make way, give room to the members of Parliament, because the grounds that you're standing in...
No, the president is arriving. The president is arriving.
And it's only elected members of Parliament who are allowed to stand or to participate inside the Chamber of Parliament.
Obidina? Okay. Now, currently, what we see is a convoy of the President of Uganda arriving here at Kololo ceremonial grounds, which will be later proclaimed to be the Parliament of Uganda, and he will be received by the Chief Justice of Uganda here, who is Flavian Zeija, who has already arrived and has already taken his space where he will be, the space where he will be receiving the President from. That particular vehicle you see is that the convoy of the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, arriving here at Kololo. He is indeed in Kololo, and that means that the event will be beginning on time exactly as it gets to move to greet the Chief Justice, the Clerk to Parliament, and the Sergeant at Arms officers there awaiting the President of Uganda. That is a welcoming note for the President of Uganda, and it means that shortly after he takes his seat, he will actually be, shortly after he takes his seat, where he is headed now, it means that the sitting will be beginning in a few minutes from now. He is in company of the Chief Justice, who moves alongside him. He will be taking registration as the President of Uganda, ensuring that he has arrived here, and that registration will be done by the Clerk to Parliament. That will be in part of the Hansard of the Parliament of Uganda, which will be today. That speaks to the start of the process. That's how the program was aligned, and it speaks to the arrival of the President. After the arrival of the President, it means that we shall be getting to the proclamation of the environment, which will be done by the Chief Justice. The proclamation is to mean that this environment has been designated as the Parliament of Uganda, and so for even individuals that keep moving around, you cannot move within the people that are seated or those that are now currently standing after receiving the President of Uganda. Where you see the Clerk to Parliament, the Chief Justice moving towards is where they are going to be taking their ceremonial events or their constitutional events that are expected to be happening today. Those are the events that are under Article 82 of the Constitution, which is on the election of the Speaker of Parliament. The environment which they are now going to occupy, ideally, is where they are going to make that proclamation of the Parliament of Uganda being here, and as soon as they make that particular proclamation, it means that Parliament will be convening. The President's role here is totally different, but the anthems begin just now.
Excellency the President, my Lord the Chief Justice, honorable members of the 12th Parliament. This is the proclamation of the President, and therefore the term of the 11th Parliament expired, and therefore the term of the 11th Parliament expired on 24th day of May 2026. Now, therefore, in exercise of powers conferred upon the President by Article 95(1) of the Constitution, it is deemed that the first sitting of the 12th Parliament be held at Kololo Ceremonial Ground on the 25th day of May 2026 at 10 a.m. This proclamation was given under the hand and public seal on the 8th day of May 2026 by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda. Your Lordship, I beg to submit.
Item number 4, remarks by His Lordship, the Chief Justice.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, honorable members of Parliament, I take this opportunity to congratulate you upon your election to this august House. The journey to this point has undoubtedly required commitment, resilience, and the confidence of the people of Uganda, and we remain grateful to the Almighty God for enabling this achievement. It's now over 4 months since the conclusion of the general elections, through which you were entrusted with the responsibility of representing your constituents. While some of you return with prior parliamentary experience, many are here for the first time. Together, you now constitute the 12th Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. In accordance with the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, I'm here in my capacity as Chief Justice to preside over the election of the Speaker of Parliament. This function is a constitutional duty entrusted to my office under Article 82(1) of the Constitution, which provides for the offices of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Clause 5 of the same article further stipulates that the Chief Justice or a judge designated by the Chief Justice shall preside over the elections of the Speaker, and thereafter the Speaker shall preside over the election of the Deputy Speaker. Your Excellency and honorable members, my role today is therefore strictly to oversee this process in accordance with the Constitution and the established rules of procedure of Parliament. I'm informed that all honorable members of this Parliament were furnished with copies of the parliamentary rules of procedure. I take it that you have read and internalized yourselves with the relevant rules governing the elections of both the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. However, for avoidance of the doubt, I hereby request the Clerk to Parliament to read the rules of procedure applicable for the election of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker to refresh our understanding of the process to be followed. I thank you.
Rule number 5, election of Speaker. The Speaker shall be elected by members of Parliament from among their number. A person shall not be qualified to be elected Speaker if he or she is a Vice President, Prime Minister, or a Minister. A person who publicly campaigns or causes campaigns through his or her agent in a manner which is in breach of Rule 91 shall be subject to the Code of Conduct for members. No business shall be transacted in Parliament other than an election of the office of Speaker at any time the office of Speaker is vacant. The Chief Justice or a judge designated by the Chief Justice shall preside at an election of a Speaker. Subject to Rule 11, the election of a Speaker shall be by secret ballot. A person presiding at the election of the Speaker shall invite nominations from members present. A member making a nomination shall move a motion that so and so do take the chair of this Parliament as the Speaker, and shall give a brief statement of the background and qualifications of the nominee. Nomination of a member for election to the office of Speaker shall be seconded. A person nominated as a candidate for election to the office of Speaker shall give his or her consent to the nomination. Where one person is nominated, he or she shall be declared elected and conducted to the Speaker's chair. Where more than one person is nominated, the House shall proceed to elect a Speaker from the persons nominated. When all the nominations have been received, the person presiding shall announce that the ballot will now be taken. Voting shall be in the following manner. The clerk shall ascertain the number of members present. Before voting commences, the person presiding shall cause to be produced one ballot paper and cause to be demonstrated the fact that the ballot paper is empty. The person presiding shall cause to be given to each member present a ballot paper. A member who wishes to vote shall proceed to a booth or an area designated within reasonable distance of the ballot box for the purpose of voting, and shall, while in the booth or designated area, write the name of the candidate of his or her choice, fold the marked ballot paper and drop it in the ballot box. On the election of a Speaker, no vote may be cast or abstention recorded by proxy. After all members who wish to vote have voted, the person presiding shall, in full view of the members present, cause the clerk to empty the ballot box and immediately count the ballot papers contained in the ballot box. At the completion of the counting, the person presiding shall announce the result of the voting, specifying the total number of ballot papers contained in the ballot box, the total number of members who have abstained from voting, the total number of spoiled or blank ballot papers, and the total number of votes obtained by each nominee. Where two or more persons are nominated for the office of Speaker, the person who receives the majority of the votes of all members present and voting shall be declared Speaker. Where none of the persons nominated for the office of Speaker receives the majority number of votes of all members present and voting, a second election shall be held between the two persons who obtain the highest number of votes. Where at an election between two nominees, the nominees receive an equal number of votes, another election shall be held. And where a second election has to be held under paragraph I, and two or more nominees receive equal votes in the second position of the first election, there shall be an election to determine the nominee to stand in the second election, and the election shall be repeated where there are ties until one nominee can be identified. The person elected Speaker shall be conducted to the chair. As soon as possible after the election of Speaker, before assuming the duties of the office of Speaker, the person elected Speaker shall, in the manner prescribed by law, take and subscribe to the oath of Speaker specified in the 4th schedule to the Constitution as required by Article 82(10) of the Constitution. In this rule, person presiding means the Chief Justice or a judge designated by the Chief Justice under Rule number 5. The oath of Speaker or Deputy Speaker shall be administered by the President or a person authorized by the President. Thank you. Item number 6, nomination of candidates for the office of Speaker.
I now invite nominations from honorable members present in the House for the position of Speaker. A member making a nomination will have 5 minutes to propose a candidate and provide a brief statement of their background and qualifications. A seconder will then have 2 minutes to second the nomination. Thank you.
Your Excellency, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Lordship the Chief Justice, distinguished members of the 12th Parliament in your respective capacities. I stand here to move a motion for the election of Honorable OBOTH Maxon Jacob, Member of Parliament, West Budama Central County, as Speaker of the 12th Parliament. And I proceed to move this motion under Article 82 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and Rule 5(8) of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. Your Excellency, Your Lordship the Chief Justice, whereas Article 77 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda establishes the Parliament of Uganda, and whereas Article 82 of the Constitution provides that there shall be a Speaker of Parliament and no business shall be transacted in Parliament other than an election to the office of Speaker at any time the office of the Speaker is vacant, and aware that in accordance with Article 77(3) of the Constitution, the term of this Parliament commences today, the 25th day of May 2026. Noting that Article 82 of the Constitution of Rule 5(1) of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament provide that the Speaker shall be elected by members of Parliament from among their numbers. Now, therefore, I beg to move that Honorable OBOTH Maxon Jacob, Member of Parliament, West Budama Central County, do take the chair of this Parliament as the Speaker. I beg to move.
The seconder.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Lordship, the Chief Justice, and honorable colleagues, I raise in accordance with Rule 5(9) of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament to support the nomination of Honorable OBOTH Maxon Jacob, Member of Parliament, West Budama Central County, for election as Speaker of the 12th Parliament. Your Lordship and honorable colleagues, the person I have the pleasure of seconding his nomination for election as Speaker of the 12th Parliament of Uganda is well known to me, having worked with him in the 9th and 10th Parliament and in Cabinet during the 11th Parliament. During my close interaction with Honorable OBOTH, as he's fondly known, I found him a capable leader who possesses qualities that make him suitable to lead this House as its Speaker. Honorable OBOTH Maxon Jacob is academically astute, impartial, knowledgeable in law, parliamentary procedures and processes, and is fair, firm, and a strong communicator, bold, decisive, goal-oriented, even-tempered, resilient, and emotionally intelligent. Those characteristics will enable him easily command this august House. He will maintain order, facilitate debate, enforce rules of procedure, navigate governance issues, make firm, decisive, sound and rational decisions, manage crises that may arise, and navigate complex political and diplomatic relations. The personal traits that Honorable Maxon Jacob possesses make him a breath of fresh air in the office of Speaker and will make him a successful Speaker. Honorable OBOTH Maxon Jacob is known for being a gentleman, calm and measured, an advocate of good standing, which reflects commitment to the rule of law, a capable leader, a patriot, owing to his service in public service of Uganda. He's good at engaging. He's a political moderate. He's a modest person, having risen from a humble background. He's disciplined, composed, and respectful in parliamentary engagement, patient and neutral. Your Lordship and honorable colleagues, basing on the above rich competencies of Honorable OBOTH, I hereby support the nomination of Honorable OBOTH for election as Speaker of the 12th Parliament. Honorable OBOTH will leverage his more than 15 years in Parliament to building the necessary administrative and governance structures to steer Parliament to greater horizons. I therefore implore you, members, to elect Honorable OBOTH Maxson Jacob as the Speaker of the 12th Parliament of Uganda. I beg to submit, Your Lordship.
I now call upon the nominated candidate to come and present his consent.
Your Lord, the Chief Justice, I would like to make this statement in support of the nomination of Honorable OBOTH Maxson Jacob, Member of Parliament, West Budama Central County, for election as Speaker of the 12th Parliament. Your Lord, the Chief Justice, in accordance with Rule 5, subsection 8 of the Rules of Procedure of the Parliament of Uganda, I have the singular honor to nominate and present to you for election as Speaker of the 12th Parliament, Honorable OBOTH Maxson Jacob, Member of Parliament, West Budama Central County. The Honorable OBOTH Maxson Jacob, fondly called OBOTH, was born on 13th April 1971 in Tororo District. Being an advocate of superior and subordinate courts in Uganda, Honorable OBOTH Maxson Jacob possesses a solid legal foundation that equips him with professional skills to preside over the parliamentary processes effectively. Honorable OBOTH Maxson Jacob possesses various academic qualifications, including the following: A, Master of Laws, LLM, University of Minnesota Law School, USA, August 2006 to May 2007. He does possess a postgraduate diploma in legal practice from Law Development Center, 2001 to 2002. In addition, he has a Bachelor of Laws, LLB, from Makerere University, Kampala, Uganda, 1997 to 2001. The Honorable OBOTH has a certificate in project planning and management from International Law Institute, Washington, D.C., October 2005. He too has 2 certificates in procurement and international property enforcement from International Development Law Organization in Rome, Italy, 2003. He has a certificate in management from Uganda Management Institute, Uganda, 1999. The Honorable OBOTH studied and acquired Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education from Tororo High School in 1995 to 1997. He was
kindly wind up
St. Denis Sebugwao School
kindly wind
and
up.
acquired his Uganda Certificate of Education. My Lord the Chief Justice, this varied background coupled with vast legal expertise gives Honorable OBOTH Maxon Jacob deep understanding of the constitutional governance, parliamentary procedure, rule of law, legislative drafting, and conflict resolution, making him the best suited member to lead the 12th Parliament as its Speaker. Furthermore, Honorable OBOTH Maxon OBOTH has had an illustrious and distinguished career, serving in various key positions in the political and public service of Uganda, including Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs 2024 to date. He was a State Minister for Defense and Veteran Affairs 2001 to 2028. He was a Member of Parliament from 2011 to date. He was a Chairperson Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee from 2016 to 2021. He was a Chairperson Committee on Rules, Discipline and Privileges in the 9th Parliament. And finally, he was a Chairperson of the Committee on Natural Resources, also in the 9th Parliament. Lord the Chief Justice was a Chairperson of an ad hoc committee investigating the energy sector in Uganda 2011 to 2015, and a member of the Parliamentary Business Committee in the 9th and 10th Parliament, where he was also a member Commonwealth Parliamentary Association from 2011 to 2021, and the National President, Parliamentarians for Global Action, Uganda. And your Lord the Chief Justice, he was indeed Acting Principal State Attorney, Head of Mbale Regional Office, Attorney General's Chambers, Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, overseeing the eastern, northeastern Uganda, covering 24 districts of Iganga, Kaliro, Namutumba, Bugiri, Budaka, etc. He was a Deputy Attorney General for Tiengadola Cultural Institution in 2003 to 2010, and a part-time lecturer at the Islamic University in Uganda, the Faculty of Law, 2007 to 2010. He was a board member in several civil society organizations between 1999 to 2010, and he was a founding member and board chairperson, Community Aid, CAN Uganda, an NGO serving the people in eastern Uganda. Your Lord the Chief Justice, distinguished members, the Honorable OBOTH Maxon Jacob is a diligent leader who has immeasurably participated in shaping the destiny of Uganda and served Uganda with dedication and patriotism. The past leadership positions held by Honorable OBOTH Maxon Jacob as Cabinet Minister, State Minister, Member of Parliament, Chairperson of committees, and civil servant have significantly shaped Honorable OBOTH Maxon Jacob and prepared him for service as Speaker. Honorable members, the person I present to you today for election as your Speaker in the 12th Parliament of Uganda, Honorable OBOTH Maxon Jacob, has been endorsed by the NRM party and His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and other senior national leaders, and has, since his announcement of his candidature for the office of Speaker, received support from amongst members of Parliament across the political divide and the general public. This endorsement reflects confidence in his ability to lead the 12th Parliament effectively. I therefore have the honor to nominate Honorable OBOTH Maxon Jacob for election as the Speaker of the 12th Parliament of Uganda. And I do this for God and my country. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
The candidate nominated, and now I invite you to make a statement accepting the nomination, and you have only 1 minute to do so. Let's adhere to the time. I don't have the privilege in Parliament to switch off the microphone, but I hope we stick to the time.
My Lord the Chief Justice, honorable members, it is with deep humility, a profound sense of honor, and unswerving resolve to uphold your trust that I accept this nomination to serve as Speaker of this august House.
Any other nomination? Kindly, when you propose, continue to make the statement about your candidate.
Your Excellency, the President, my Lord, the Chief Justice, and honorable colleagues, my name is Chirumira Hassan, Member of Parliament representing Katikam South. I stand here to move a motion under Rule 5 of our Rules of Procedure that the Honorable Mweru Paul, MP Jinja South Division East, take a chair of Parliament as the Speaker. I beg to submit. My Lord, the Honorable Mweru Paul, I present before you is the best of our candidates for Speakership of the 12th Parliament, the Republic of Uganda. Honorable Mweru Paul is a lawyer holding a bachelor's degree in law from Makerere University, a diploma in legislative drafting from the International Law Institute, diploma in law from a Law Development Center. The Honorable Mweru Paul was a member of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee in the 9th and the 10th Parliament of Uganda. He served as the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee in the 9th Parliament. The Honorable Mweru Paul served as the deputy spokesperson for the Forum for Democratic Change and is now the focal person in the National Unity Platform for Busoga West. His candidature is premised on 4 pillars, but I'll deal with the 2, and the remaining 2 shall be dealt with by the seconder. First is the restoration of the rule of law in Parliament. Honorable Mweru Paul, our candidate for the position of speakership, will uphold accountability and the rule of law by ensuring budget discipline, stamping out wasteful expenditure, redirecting money for donations and corporate social responsibility to parliamentary committees where members actually do the work for Parliament. This will be done through internal resource reallocation without increasing the overall budget of Parliament. To ensure accountability to the public, he will ensure adoption of the public disclosure policy where Parliament will periodically publish its output and attendant costs so that the public can appreciate and hold their leaders to account. Secondly, equity and inclusivity. The Honorable Paul Mwera I present before you, his candidature is premised on treating all members of parliament fairly and equally. He will ensure that there is equity and inclusivity in the welfare of the members of parliament and staff of the parliament and standardized benefits. I present before you the Honorable Paul Mweru for God and my country. I submit.
Thank you so much. Let me have the seconder.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Lordship, the Chief Justice, honorable colleagues, my name is Sarah Luansasula, and I am the woman representative for the people of Jinja City. In accordance with Rule 5, Clause 8, I also associate myself with Honorable Chirumira, and I am here to second Honorable Mwiru Paul to be the Speaker of the 12th Parliament. In addition to what the nominator has said, Honorable Mwiru will be responsive of the aspirations of Ugandans, and this he will do by ensuring that funding of government programs is increased to match the increased population growth. He will also ensure that the talk about the tenfold growth strategy is matched with resource allocation. Honorable Mwiru is competent, is exemplary, and accountable, so he brings such leadership to the 12th Parliament as a Speaker. Under his leadership, he will cause the reduction of funds to consumptive expenditure and invest more in capacity building of members and staff. In addition, resources will be reallocated to parliamentary committees so that members are adequately enabled to conduct oversight at committee level. Honorable Mwiru will cultivate a habit of budget discipline to ensure that funds are spent only on what they have been budgeted for. All members will be aware of what has been allocated to specific activities so that they can hold his leadership accountable. Dear members, Honorable Mwiru is a man of integrity. He's a man who does what he says should be done. I urge you all to see Honorable Mwiru Paul fit to be our Speaker for the next Parliament, this Parliament, the 12th Parliament. I submit.
Okay, let me have the nominated candidate to come step forward and state his consent to the nomination. Please note that you state the consent and nothing else, according to the rules.
Your Excellency, the President, my Lord, the Chief Justice, honorable colleagues, I take the singular honor to accept the nomination for the chair of the Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there any other nomination? please nominate and continue to make the statement.
Your Excellency, the President, my Lord the Chief Justice, my name is Okoth Peter, Member of Parliament for Tochi, County Inomoro District. I rise under Rule 5, subsection 8 of the Parliamentary Rules of Procedure to move that the Honorable Norbert Mao, Member of Parliament for Laro Peche, do take the chair of this Parliament as the Speaker. My Lord the Chief Justice and honorable members, let me give a brief background and qualification of the Honorable Norbert Mao. Norbert Mao was born in 1967 to a mother from Isinjiro and a father from Gulu. He spent most of his formative years in Jinja and had most of his secondary education in the central region. That is why he is commonly referred to as Uganda made simple. My Lord, Norbert Mao had a humble childhood in Lacho and Bobo, where he benefited from the kindness of many. Some of them were total strangers. As a little boy, he herded goats, helped on the farm, and worked as a cobbler, bicycle repairer, and as an apprentice to a tinsmith. His primary school then had no P7 class, but on account of his natural brilliance, he went on to do his primary leaving examination at Magwa Primary School, from where he moved on to Wairaka College for 2 years, and then went to Namiliango College, where he sat for both his O and A-level examination before joining Makerere University. His exceptional communication and interpersonal skills, leadership skills, were recognized early by his peers. While in primary school and even at secondary level, he participated in many debates and seminars where he excelled on account of the courage, clarity, and conviction with which he presented his case. At Makerere University, he was elected president of the Student Guild. At a time when coming from northern Uganda carried a big stigma, he overcame that stigma and rallied students to champion a campaign against the World Bank-inspired policies, referred to as structural adjustment programs. But in reality, it required government in underdeveloped countries to drastically reduce spending on health, education, and livelihoods. The bywords of those policies was cost sharing. The fierce disagreement with the government led to a strike in which 2 students lost their lives and many were seriously injured when the police was deployed on campus on the 10th December 1990. One of those who was seriously injured was our own late Speaker Jacob Olanya. May his soul rest in peace. The Honorable Mao is ever a bridge builder and peacemaker. Norbert Mao, at just 23 years old at that time, reached out to State House and secured an appointment to meet President Museveni, who received a student delegation led by Mao to discuss how to balance other national priorities with the need to ensure access to higher education for students from poor families, the so-called needy students. That conversation laid the foundation for continued government sponsorship of students in universities alongside private sponsorship. Finally, my Lord the Chief Justice, Honorable Norbert Mao has education, experience, skills, and connection locally and internationally to unite this House to deal with crises of confidence facing the members, leaders, and the institutions of Parliament. Norbert Mao is a senior advocate of 32 years standing. He has an undergraduate law degree from Makerere University and a postgraduate diploma in legal practice from the Law Development Center. He has an associate Bachelor of Arts degree and a Master's of Arts degree in Development Studies from Uganda Matters University. He has a Master's of Dispute Resolution and a certificate in International Commercial Arbitration from Pepperdine University, USA. In addition, he was a 2003 World Fellow at Yale University, USA. My Lord, the Chief Justice, Norbert Mao is the President General of the Democratic Party and until recently, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs in the government of Uganda. Having been appointed following a cooperation agreement between the National Resistance Movement and the Democratic Party, Norbert Mao believes in managing our differences through concessional democracy, where we use points of agreement as foothold to find consensus in areas of disagreement. The candidates I present to you will guarantee the privilege, immunities, and independence of the members of Parliament. There is no better prerequisite for guaranteeing the freedom of debate that representation and oversight demands.
You should be winding up.
Most of like, than having a presiding officer who does not have an overbearing or coercive influence on members and is himself not under the overbearing or coercive influence of anybody. Norbert Mao is a patriot and was a firebrand legislator in the 6th and 7th Parliament, now returned to Parliament after voluntarily leaving it 20 years ago. He left Parliament and went to serve with the district as the district chair of Gulu District Local Government. That is why he is commonly referred to as Mr. Chairman. He worked alongside others to support the peace process that silenced the guns in the north, in northern Uganda, and laid the foundation for post-conflict reconstruction. God has preserved him through many life-threatening situations in order to serve the country he loves for such a time as this. As Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, he has been a champion of alternative dispute resolution, the protection of the intellectual property of the creative and promoter of access to justice in collaboration with the judiciary. As the political head of the Ministry of Justice, he supported the completion of the new building housing many of the justice, law, and order institutions, saving governments over 30 billion shillings annually in rent. Surely, he will quickly ensure the completion of the new parliamentary chambers so that we don't have to come to Kololo every time we have a grand sitting of Parliament. My Lord, Chief Justice, and honorable members, in conclusion, Honorable Mao, as the current chairman of the summit of the Inter-Party Organization for Dialogue, IPOD, understand what is at stake over the next 5 years and beyond. But at a deeper level, honorable members, Norbert Mao as a candidate for Speaker is not the issue. The issue is what is at stake as we elect the Speaker. And what is at stake is bigger than any candidate. The NRM has lived with Norbert Mao as Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs for 4 years. Surely, colleagues, NRM can live with Norbert Mao for 5 years as the Speaker. So let us rise above partisan alliance and embrace the gift of Norbert Mao to the NRM and Uganda. Don't ask why Mao, but ask why not Mao. My Lord Chief Justice and honorable member, I beg to move. Thank you very much.
Let me have the seconder. Please, you have 2 minutes. Don't use more than that.
Much obliged. My Lord, the Honorable Chief Justice and the honorable members, as per the Rule 5, Clause 9 of the Parliamentary Rules of Procedure, I, Patrick Okello Onguri, the Member of Parliament representing Aswa County in this 12th Parliament, rise on a motion to second the Honorable Norbert Mao to take the chair of this Parliament as the Speaker. I beg to move.
Thank you. The candidate, step forward to state your consent. Please note that as per the rules, you only state your consent to the nomination and nothing else.
Much obliged, my Lord. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, my Lord, the Chief Justice, the honorable members of Parliament, in as few words as it takes, I, Norbert Mao, Member of Parliament for Laro Peche, hereby consent to my nomination to take the chair as the Speaker. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Any other nomination?
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Lordship, the Chief Justice, colleagues, members of Parliament, I'm here on two folds. One, to close the nomination. Two, to move on a matter of procedure under Rule 17, Sub-Rule 1. My Lord Office of the Speaker carries immense responsibilities, and the 11th Parliament has been alleged to have been the epicenter of corruption. Therefore, I move under Rule 17, Sub-Rule 1, causing for the suspension of Rule 5, Sub-Rule 3, and Rule 10, Sub-Rule 10, and to allow the nominated members to present their credentials such that we are able to assess whether they meet the requisite governance qualities that can restore public trust in the institution of Parliament and to protect the gains so far achieved. My Lord, it is of imperative necessity that you allow this proposal and you suspend Rule 5, Sub-Rule 3, and Sub-Rule 10, and grant the nominated candidates 15 minutes to address the House such that we are able to make informed decisions. My Lord, the right to be heard before a decision is made is constitutional. Even in the Bible, when Adam and Eve sinned in the Garden of Eden, God first called them to defend themselves before he passed judgment onto them. So today, we are going to make decision to elect Speaker of Parliament. It would be good for us to hear from them and we make an informed decision. Your Lordship, my name is Uchenn Geoffrey, Member of Parliament representing Kyoga North constituency in Amalata district. I beg to submit.
Let me first of all begin by overruling you. Sub-Rule 3 you talk about actually prohibits campaigning by the members nominated. Secondly, Rule 10 only talks about consent. So can we then proceed? In view of the fact that more than one members have been nominated, I now announce the ballot will now be taken.
My Lord, I mentioned Rule 5, Sub-Rule 3, and Rule 5, Sub-Rule 10.
I've already made the ruling. I will not go back to it. No more procedure. Can we please close the nominations and proceed to take the ballot? So given that there is no any other candidate, I have 370 members present who are eligible to participate in the election. And in view of the fact that there is no more candidate, I close the nomination and I proceed to announce a ballot be taken in accordance with Rule 5, Sub-Rule 13. This election will be conducted beyond reproach. Therefore, for the sake of clarity and transparency, I wish to point out the following. Number one, everything will be done in the open, strictly in accordance with the rules. Two, the clerk will ascertain the number of honorable members present, and he has already done so. He tells me we have 370 members present. Each nominated candidate for the position of Speaker will designate an agent to come forward and witness the process of opening the ballot box to verify that the ballot box is empty. Ballot papers equivalent to the members present will be counted in the presence of the agent and put aside. When you, as the honorable member, arrives, you will be given one ballot paper in the presence of the designated agent, you will then go to the designated place to vote for your candidate. Suffice to mention is that the ballot papers are blank because nominations are conducted from here. However, I'm confident that each one of you knows how to read and write. You will write the name of the honorable member you are voting for speaker in the blank space provided on the ballot paper. Therefore, thereafter followed the marked ballot paper and inserted into the ballot box in full view of everyone. Voting will be by secret ballot and there is no voting by proxy. So can I have the agents forward? I'm not allowing procedure. Can I have the agents forward? I'm not allowing procedure. Can we have the agents forward? I'm not allowing procedure. Can we have the agents forward? Agents of the candidates. That is the ballot box. As you can see, it is empty, as confirmed by the candidates. Let me call upon the clerk to Parliament to start calling the names for voting. No, we are going to use the register of all sworn-in members to call the names. But as at the time when I was talking, the number I had received was 370. So that should not be a problem. Yeah. So we shall use the register of members.
Ayo Joyce Makomo.
I suggest that save time, you read them in tens so that they line up, so that we don't spend time moving.
Ababiku Jessica, Abeja Susan Jolie, Abe Lilian, Abigaba Cuthbert Mirembe, Akamfua Topista, Achan Joyce Okeny, Acheng Jen Ruth Ochero, Achayo Juliet Lodu, Acheng Sandra. Achia Kathe, Achia Lokiru Gabriel, Achia Remigio, Achola Catherine, Achola Catherine, Achom Alobo Joan, Achom Alobo Joan, Achom Esther, Achom Esther, Achon Julius Boa, Achon Julius Boa, Achora Nancy Odonga, Achora Nancy Odonga, Adeke Ann Ebaju, Adeke Ann Ebaju, Adidwa Abudu, Adidwa Abudu. Adome Francis Lorica, Adome Francis Lorica, Ayeku Patrick, Ayeku Patrick, Agaba Gilbert, Agaba Gilbert, Agaba Peter, Agaba Peter, Aguti Sarah, Aguti Sarah, Ahewa Wilba Manyisa, Ahewa Wilba Manyisa, Aine Godfrey Kaguta, Aine Godfrey Kaguta, Agilo Maria Goret Elogu, Agilo Maria Goreti Elogu, Akelo Beatrice Akori, Akelo Beatrice Akori, Akelo Lucy, Akelo Lucy. Akelo Rose Lily, Akelo Rose Lily, Achifeza Grace Ngavirano, Achifeza Grace Ngavirano, Akol Anthony, Akol Anthony, Akorkin Francis, Akorkin Francis, Akoth Angela Zonkire, Akoth Angela, Akuguziwe Ronald, Akuguziwe Ronald, Akuguziwe Lawrence, Akuguziwe Lawrence, Akumu Catherine Mavenjina, Akumu Catherine Mavenjina, Alenyo Marshall Godfrey, Alenyo Marshall Godfrey, Alero Tom Azza, Alero Tom Azza, Alero Tom Azza. Ali Moses, Ali Moses, alinaitwa Silvia Tumuheirwe, alinaitwa Silvia Tumuheirwe, Alion Yok Odiria, Alion Yok Odiria, Alum Santa Sandra Ogwang, Alum Santa Sandra Ogwang, Alupo Jessica Rose Epel, Alupo Jessica Rose Epel, Alieria Dennis Omodi, Alieria Dennis Omodi, Amanio Draville Sheila, Amanio Draville Sheila, Amanya Cohen Champene, Amanya Cohen Champene, Amede Agnes, among Anita Annette, among in Jane Francis Okili, among in Jane Francis Okili, yes. Angura Frederick, Angura Frederick, Angwech Colin, Angwech Colin, Anifa Vangirana, Anifa Vangirana, Anyakun Esther Davinia, Anyakun Esther Davinia, Anyang Janet Hope, Anyang Janet Hope, Anywa Eric Richard, Anywa Eric Richard, Augon Silas, Augon Silas, Awo Betty Ochan, Awo Betty Ochan, Apolot Christine, Apolot Christine. Ariko Herbert Edmund Okworo, Ariko Herbert Edmund Okworo, Arinaitwe Rwakajara Katambuka. Arinaitwe Geneva. Arinaitwe Geneva. Asera Stephen. Asera Stephen. Asimwe Amos. Asimwe Enos. Asimwe Florence Akiki. Asimwe Florence Akiki. Atan Okia Moses. Atan Okia Moses. Atugonza Alan. Atugonza Alan. Atuhoirire Arthur Kazora. Atuhoirire Arthur Kazora. Atukunda Rebecca Mubangizi. Atukunda Rebecca Mubangizi. Atuto Jacinta. Atuto Jacinta. Atwijukire Boaz. Atwijukire Boaz. Atwijukire Dan Kimosho. Atwijukire Dan Kimosho. Atiang Stella. Atiang Stella. Auma Janet. Auma Janet. Auma Kenny. Auma Kenny. Auma Linda Agnes. Auma Linda Agnes. Avako Melissa Naima Gure. Avako Melissa Naima Gure. Avur Janet Pachuto. Avur Jane Pachuto. Awor Betty Engola. Awor Betty Engola. Ayagarachi Jamal. Ayagarachi Jamal. Ayepa Maiko. Ayepa Maiko. Ayo Janeth Phoebe Obol. Ayo Janeth Phoebe Obol. Ayume Charles. Ayume Charles. Batum Ben Koryang. Batum Ben Koryang. Vavanga Wilfred Erima. Vavanga Wilfred Erima. Vabirie Kitio Sara. Vabirie Kitio Sara. Vabirie Mili Vabaranda. Babirie Mili Babaranda, Babura Noel Kateike Matlida, Babura Noel Kateike Matlida, Vajire Agre Henry, Vajire Agre Henry, Vagore Ngobi John, Vagore Ngobi John. Vaguma Speleza Muhenda, Vaguma Spelanza Muhenda, Vahireira Silvia Tumwekwase, Vahireira Silvia Tumwekwase, Vakashava Christopher, Vakashava Christopher, Vachireke Namboze Betty, Vachireke Namboze Betty, Banya Emmanuel Natal, Banya Emmanuel Natal, Variayanga Andrew Aja, Variayanga Andrew Aja, Variomonsi Chris, Variomonsi Chris, Basaja Subi Nsereko Charles Kauma, Basaja Subi Nsereko Charles Kauma, Vaseke Fred, Vaseke Fred. Vasaja Idi, Vasaja Idi, Vatua Timothy Lusara, Vatua Timothy Lusara, Vazanya Matayo, Vazanya Matayo, Vevona Josephine Vavunji, Vevona Josephine Vavunji, Vejira Samuel, Vejira Samuel, Vegumisa Protazio, Vegumisa Protazio, Vaira Emmanuel Wephuru, Vaira Emmanuel Wephuru, Vijirwa Nora Nyendoha, Vijirwa Nora Nyendoha, Vinji Patrick Nyanzi, Vinji Patrick Nyanzi, Virunji Anet, Virunji Anet. Virunji Caroline Nanyondo, Virunji Caroline Nanyondo, Visaso Abdu, Visaso Abdu, Bright Tom Amoti, Bright Tom Amoti, Bukenya Michael Iga, Vyamukama Fred, Byamukama Rogers, Byanyima Nathan, Byevisho Sam, Byuma Oswald Dez, Cadet Benjamin.
Chala Elma Capel, Chanda Bernadette Kodili, Chemonges William, Chemutai Phyllis, Cheotich Rufina, Dramviku Eric Sabiti, Drito Martin Andy, Driwaru Jennifer, Echodu David Calvin, Edakas Alfred Elalu Olale, Ediao Samuel, Edopu Peter Edeku, Ekoro Alex Irukan, Elem Leo, Emajud Peter Paul, Engola Sam, Aaron Tony, Etilu Margaret, Eunice Otuko Apio, Ezama Siraj Brahan. Fungaru Caps Hassan, Gasheja Shaka Stephen, Goire Moses, Gonyi David Robert, Guma David Gumisiriza, Habiara Fortunate, Ibaseret Josephine Kibbs. Ibrahim Aisu, Ikiriza Knight, Ilukol Emmanuel, Isamat Abraham, Isingoma Patrick Mwesigwa, Ismail Muhammad Lomwa, Itungu Sarah Masereka, Jalameso Fred, Joyo Harriet, Kabasa Balaba Bruce.